All right, people, what's going on? It's me. And if you're not a fan of the whole moral victory thing, then you might want to find another video because, for me this year, this Huskies team, they are all about the moral victory for me because I don't expect very much from this team. I predicted 5-7 before the season started, and it would not shock me if 5-7 turned into 3-9. It really wouldn't. We have one game that I really am pretty much positive we're going to win left on this schedule at this point, and that's how it goes sometimes when you're rebuilding. But today, I was pretty pleased with the way parts of this team played, and I'm going to spend some time talking about that because even though we lost at home, 30-24, it was a pretty competitive game, and I like what I see from certain parts of this team. So, get in it real quick. First half, offense was a mess. I mean, the offense was pretty bad for most of the game. I mean, as a whole, I thought the offense was not very good today, but the first half, only guy who showed up really was Dwayne Washington. He had a great first half. He had one drive that was basically all him, where we scored the touchdown. But the offense had chances to turn this game in the first half, man. I mean, they had an opportunity to drive down before the half and make it a one-score game. They had opportunities to, at the very least, make sure California didn't score that last touchdown. And Jake Locker showed his age today. I mean, he's running around in the backfield getting sacked, not understanding how to throw the ball away. I gave him credit a few weeks ago throwing the ball away against Boise State. Didn't really do that so well today. Didn't play well for most of the game. He got a couple of drives going later in the game, but the first half was brutal. But this defense is so much better than I thought they would be right now. And, if you look at California this year, I said this was an opportunity for us to steal a game that we shouldn't win. And the reason why I said that was California isn't some world beater, but they do have a very strong identity built around Jared Goff and their elite passing attack, and they can run the ball pretty well too. They have a powerful offense, but they have this very strong identity around a quarterback who will probably compete for the Heisman and will probably be a top pro prospect. And this defense, without Buda Baker, who I said in my last video that we don't have any name players on this defense, and we really don't, but Buda Baker has been one guy who's played pretty well to start this season, and he was out for this game. When I saw that, I thought to myself, Jared Goff is going to throw for 550 yards. Defense didn't play bad. We had a couple goal line stands. We forced punts, especially in that, early part of the game where we fell behind 27-7. But if it wasn't for the defense playing really well, it would have been a lot worse than that. I mean, the offense was turning the ball over, 3 and out, moving the ball backwards. There was a point in this game, I think in the second quarter, where we had 59 offensive yards, and Dwayne Washington had 71 offensive yards. So the whole rest of the team was literally doing nothing but move backwards. So for this defense to hold in, despite that, you had the pick that Jake Browning threw. You had his fumble. And I think you had one more turnover in the first half as well. And they held tough. And then in the second half, I mean, even better. I mean, I was satisfied with their defensive effort in the first half. But in the second half, they gave up 2 touchdowns, I think. No. They gave up a touchdown, 2 field goals. And they had a defensive score, the fumble, the 70-yard scoop and score, which kept us in the game because it was 27-7 in the third quarter, and I was thinking it was over, of course. Jake Browning hadn't done anything in the game to that point, and then he leads us on this good drive down the field, completing short passes, and we got in the end zone. But I still didn't think we were going to be able to get ourselves back into that game because I didn't believe in the offense to score 2 more touchdowns. And the defense, they stepped up. They made a big play, and suddenly we were right there. So this defense, without any big names, got it done today. And they did it without one of their best defensive backs, Buda Baker, being out. So very happy with that. The offense today, I don't know if you want to call it a disappointment because I don't expect a ton from this team this year. But the offense today, the first half was brutal. Only player who showed up was Dwayne Washington, like I said. Second half, Jake Browning got some stuff going down the field. He had a brutal back-to-back set in the fourth quarter where he threw what should have been a touchdown to Dwayne Washington, and Washington lost the ball in the sun and dropped it. And then the very next play, Dwayne Washington fumbled. So second half, we got a little bit of the bad Dwayne Washington. But, that's what you get with a player like him. He's not the most consistent guy. He's not somebody you can completely depend on, but he is a playmaker. So other than that, you had the fumble by, I think, Josh Renfro, who did not have a good game. That was his only catch of the day. Jake Browning threw the bad pick on the last drive of the game. Terrible throw, terrible decision. Can't do that. Other than that, I saw some signs of life, but too many mistakes, too many turnovers, too many times where you put your defense in bad positions, and the defense held tough. I mean, California got their yards. They had probably around 100, 500 total offensive yards. But I think the defense did their best to overcome all the mistakes that the offense had. The 5 turnovers, the long stretches of game where the offense just couldn't do anything at all. So I don't want to call it a disappointment because our offense is quarterbacked by a true freshman, and he showed it today. Because he did a couple things good later in the game, but really, if you're looking at it, the 2 picks were bad, the fumble was bad, he took bad sacks, he made some bad decisions, he threw a couple other balls that could have been picked off. But I continue to like what I see from him in a more aesthetic sense, where you watch him play and you see where he could be next year and the year after. But yeah, today was a day where he showed his age, and this was a winnable game. I mean, with the defense playing this well and working this hard to make up for some of the mistakes of the offense, this was a winnable game. And if you're looking at the offense, they didn't pull their weight. So discouraged a little bit, but I wasn't expecting a win. It just sucks letting this one go because we were right there at the end of the game, and it just didn't happen. And we had opportunities throughout the game to do stuff, and it didn't happen. And obviously, the big turning point of the game was the Dwayne Washington drop, followed by the Dwayne Washington fumble. But at the same time, on offense, he was our best player throughout the game. He was the only thing we had for good portions of that game. So that's what you get with Dwayne Washington, I guess, right? Anyway, things are about to get tough. Rest of the schedule this year is going to be brutal. I think we play 5 ranked teams in a row: Sanford, USC, Oregon, although Oregon's not going to be ranked anymore probably. Love watching that. Now, you guys, Oregon can still hate on me because they're better than us, and I still expect Oregon's going to kill us. Arizona, I guess Utah is on there too. I mean, it's just going to be brutal, and we could drop our next 7 games, and I wouldn't be all that surprised. The 2 games at the tail end of that are, I think, Arizona and Oregon State, and they're both road games, so who knows? And then we got the Apple Cup at the end of the year. So things could get rough, but I'm going to keep watching. I'm going to keep watching to see where our true freshmen go, because today they didn't do it. Gaskin, I talked him up in my last video. He didn't do much today. Didn't need to because Dwayne Washington ended up being the featured running back. But Browning and Gaskin are going to be the future of this team these next 2 years, unless they both completely fall apart. And today was one of those valleys. So got to get back up to those peaks, show some stuff, and give us a chance to win 1 or 2 of these next 6 games. So see you later.